The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, good morning, guys.
Hey, good
Can you
morning,
hear
Kishore.
me? Yeah, good
Hey,
morning.
good morning, Kishore.
Yeah. So, are you able to hear me?
Yes,
Yeah, okay. Give me another 5 minutes. We will start because let me see how many people will join. Then we will start.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Hi, guys. Can you hear me? Let's start.
Yes, Kishore.
Yeah, Kishore.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
can hear
Fine.
you.
Yeah. Okay. Let's start. So, what are we going to do today is we are directly jumping into the course. Then we'll be starting with the first session today. So, we are planning the session to be 3 hours, but today I may not take complete 3 hours. Maybe I will end around 2.5 hours, and I will give some time for the questions. And I will leave you guys unmuted so you can self mute yourself. So, if you have any question, you can unmute yourself and you can ask me a question. Okay, so I want this session to be very interactive. Okay, before I start, right, can you guys introduce me one by one? Just I want to know, what is your experience? What are you working as? Basically, your background. So I know while in the class, right, I know which examples to take or which data sets to use based on your backgrounds and your domain knowledge.
Okay. So let me start, Kishore. This is
Yeah, Chiranjeev.
Chiranjeev,
Yeah, Chiranjeev.
and I have almost 10 years of experience, and my experience is totally into data warehousing. Okay,
Okay.
and I am using Informatica as a ETL tool currently, and
Okay.
I have a domain knowledge of healthcare. Means this is the prominent knowledge which I have. Okay,
Okay.
and above that means I have worked with the databases like Oracle, Teradata, and recently I got a chance to work with JSON data as well.
Okay.
Okay, so this is all means regarding my experience. And
Okay, that's fine, Chiranjeev. Thanks. Uh,
yeah, well,
can anyone else, guys? Everyone are unmuted. You can just unmute yourself.
Hey guys, this is Mohit.
Yes, Mohit.
Good morning to all. My name is Mohit. I have experience of around 8+ years. I'm basically into SAP BW BO, and my domain. I have been working with products. I've been working with like products and mining industries. So now next, I would like to experience. I'm trying to explore my chances with data science, and so I'm here with you all.
Okay. Mohit, quick question. When you say SAP BO, is it the data integration part or the reporting part? Because SAP Business Objects has two different tool sets, right?
Yeah. So I've been working with the reporting only. So
Reporting.
I
Okay, that's good.
with WebBuy, or say you can say Tableau, or say Power BI. So tools I've been working.
Okay, that's great. Okay, thanks, Mohit. Next, anyone else?
Hi everyone, this is Saurabh. Good morning everyone.
Hi, Saurav.
Hi Kishore, good morning.
Yeah, good.
Totally I have a 6+ year experience in ATL
Okay.
technology. My core technology is Informatica
Okay.
and in Salesforce and Informatica Cloud as well.
Okay.
And my domain knowledge basically I am working for the manufacturing company, manufacturing products.
Okay, great. So it's basically you're working all your experience is mainly on ETL side. So you don't have any experience on the reporting side.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Uh, so who else? Lakshmi Narayana.
Uh, Hi, good morning to all. My name is Lakshmanarana.
Yeah, good morning.
Basically, uh, I have around 7 years of experience in Java and G2 technologies.
Okay.
I learned Hadoop and Spark. So for the extension for that, I want to learn this data science actually. I want to shift my
So you are
career
familiar with
into data
Hadoop and
science.
Spark.
Just a bit. level only, not with expert level, or not an expert
No,
level.
that's fine. But you know how Hadoop works, how Spark works. You know the basics, right? You have learned
Yes,
it.
yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's
Uh,
great, guys. Okay, let's based on your experience, right? It's actually very relevant experience, okay, where you can pick up data science skills very easily. And if you guys are not working, not have not worked with any Hadoop or Spark, any big data technologies, don't worry, because you already have the experience on data warehousing, okay, either ETL side or reporting side. Okay, it's not that it's not a rocket science. You can pick up the skills very easily. The only thing what I see is, except Lakshminarayana, who is working on Java, he has more experience on the programming side. So the problem here is, what people think is, when they start data science, uh, because the term itself, right, data science itself is tagged with something like science, some research, right, research and development. So, and even if you see a lot of job requirements, they say we need PhD guys to do the research, okay, on the data science. And also you see most of the data science guys are, PhD background, either in mathematics or physics. Because, and don't be confused with these PhDs if you see in the job, because they are looking for the domain specific. Okay, if I'm, let's say if I'm doing in a healthcare, so I want somebody who did PhD in healthcare related things, like say chemical background, or biology, so something like this, any specific areas, because that skill is very very important. But their job is very limited. I mean, those jobs are very limited. Everybody doesn't, every job doesn't require PhD, only few jobs. But initially, right, you will see those kind of jobs a lot, because data science is just picking up now. So you will see all kind of jobs in the market. So when it comes to the programming, right, that is a I can say that's a myth or misconception by the public, thinking that since data science is tagged to science and everybody asking for PhDs, and this is like a very complex subject. Okay, actually it is simpler than your Oracle database or even your Teradata database. If you go and your Teradata database, if your Teradata database is slow, you need to do a lot of things. You can do a lot of things to tune the performance, and this data science will be simpler than that. Only thing is, you need to learn in a structured way. Okay, once you put the structure in the place to learn, everything looks simple. So our objective is to make it simple for you guys, so you can learn like a building block, starting from one. So you will go step by step, step by step, then finally we'll see. So sometimes in the class, right, I may not cover whole topic. Let's say if I'm discussing statistics on particular, let's say probability, I may not cover 100% of probability in one class, or in one session. So what I do, right, I cover the basics that are required at that point for you to understand the concepts. Then when the advanced topics will be covered when they are required. So, and coming to the language, don't worry if you don't have any experience with language. Okay, we will start with the basic Python language, and the Python is very easy to learn. Okay, and most of the universities, right, even the colleges, everybody used to prefer C as a language in the universities, but now every university has changed to Python. So what the language that you are going to learn in any university is Python by default. So guys, I mute everyone for a while because I hear some background noise. So you just ping me or raise your hand if you want me to unmute anytime. So Python is very easy to learn. Okay, and we will start with the Python in this course. Okay, why we are starting with Python, and why Python, why not R? Because Python is a very generic language. Okay, there are a lot of tools that built in. Google uses Python, Netflix uses Python, Amazon uses Python. And if you see your Dropbox, the Dropbox client that you have installed on your machine, right, or on your phones, it's completely with Python. So Python is not only for data science. Python is a very general purpose language. Okay, it is built as a language. It is not built for any specific purpose. But what happened, right? When people started using languages, they found Python as a simple language to use. So they developed some libraries to be used with the Python. So now we have a very good data library that can be used for data science, and Python is an easy language, so you can use it, because 10 years ago nobody used Python for data science. Okay, only recently they started using for the data science. And if you look at the R is built for the statistics. It is not a general purpose language. You can't use R for a web programming. Okay, you can't design a website in R, but using Python you can do it. So Python is built by statisticians, and that is very very statistics rich. So if you want to do work only with statistics, then you might use R. But now R has a lot of other libraries also, where you can use for other purposes, but it's not extensive as Python. So that's the reason why most of the companies are using Python. And another language that is used for data on the Hadoop platform, especially Scala in combination with Spark. But what we are going to learn in this course is you will use Python with Spark on Hadoop. Okay, that will be just the introductory class. So we can extend that sessions later on. We can extend that. You can learn more. So the first thing is, since we are going to start with Python, you need to set up your system. Okay, to set up your system, right, there are multiple ways to run Python. You can just download Python from a website, python.org. You can just go to Python. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen, guys? Oh, okay. Okay, you can download Python from here. Okay, so are you able to see now? Yes. Okay, great. Okay. So you can download Python from here. So what happens, right? When you download Python from here, you are only downloading Python. You are not downloading the libraries that are required. So what you need to do is you need to install those libraries separately. Let's say I need a machine learning library. So we need to install a library called scikit. So this library doesn't come by default, so you need to install and you need to configure, you need to do all those things. So what we are going to do is, we are not going to use a default Python. What we are going to do, right, we are going to use something called Anaconda. Okay, so what happens, right, let's see, uh, if you are familiar with the Hadoop platform, right, Hadoop is also an open source, but there are other companies offering Hadoop like Cloudera, Hortonworks. So what they are doing is they are taking this open source Hadoop, and they distribute. They're having they mix with other tools, and they sell it as a package. So similar way, what happens is Anaconda. Anaconda is a distribution of Python. So it combines all the required libraries and it puts together, so you don't have to configure. And this Anaconda is used in the production environments. Most of the companies are using Anaconda. So there are a lot of other distributions, but we only go with Anaconda because this is the to go distribution and comes with all the required packages. Okay, you can see the packages. So we can see what are the included packages. So you can go to this Anaconda website and you download this. Okay, and depends on the version. You have two versions, Python 3.6 and Python 2.7. So what is the difference between 2.7 and 3.6? See, this 2.7, right, this is the very very initial version. Version 2 is very initial version of the Python, and version 3 is the latest, right? But why do they maintain two versions still? Because there are some changes in the core of the Python in version 3, so it's not backward compatible. So whenever you upgrade your software version, right, it should not disturb whatever the code you have already written. You should be able to execute all your pre-written code, or else, right, you don't want to upgrade, you want to still stay with the old version, because you don't want to disturb your business is running on this software. So what happens here is, when Python release 3, very basic structures have been changed. Very basic structure has been changed. So since it has changed, whoever using version 2, they can't migrate their code to 3 immediately, because if they want to migrate, they need to rewrite the code certain areas. So what Python did is, what the developers team did is, they started maintaining two versions, but you will receive the very new features immediately on version 3.6. On version 2.7, it's like, just, they will fix only the previous bugs. If there's any bug, they will fix it, and they are not adding any new features on version 2.6, 2.7. Okay, so you may see even version 2.8, 2.9 in the future, but those versions, right, is only for the users who has old code. So since we don't have any old code, let's say if you are working in a company where they are using Python 2.6 code or 2.5 code, so you can't use version 3.6. You have to go back to 2.7 and you have to run all the code on this version. Okay, so both are developed parallelly. Yeah, there are a lot of changes in 3.6, so we don't have to go and see all of them, what is the difference between 2.7 and 3.6. So I will give you some notes, so you can just go through that article, what is the difference. But for this course, we are going to use version 3.6. Okay, and I also advise you to use only version 3.6. Don't go back to 2.7, because most of the companies, it's almost 10 years. Version 3 has been released 10 years ago, I think 2008 or 2009. So most of the companies has already moved to 3.6. So but there are very few companies still using 2.7. So you just need to know, there are two versions of Python, not like Java or C where you can see only one version at a time. There are two versions, and in Python community, people are very familiar with the two versions. But if you write any code in 3.6, it may not execute on 2.7, including the simple print statement. Okay, it will not execute. Okay, you will get an error. So whenever you are working with Python, if you get some error for which you are not expecting any error, right, that means you are working on the wrong version. So you better check your version first. So another thing is, when you install this Anaconda distribution, right, check whether your operating system you are using 64-bit or 32-bit. So if you are using 64-bit, you download 64-bit, and if you are using 32-bit, you install 32-bit. Okay, you don't have to install right now. If you, I can share some instructions later. I can send you a document how to install Anaconda. Actually, it is simple installation. You can just click next, finish. The only complexity here is, you need an admin rights to install Anaconda distribution on your laptop. Let's say if you are using your office laptop, you may not have access to install, right? You might need to get an admin access to install. So you need to go and ask your admin and the office, and it may not be very comfortable for you. So what you can do is, you can install without admin access also. So that's the only thing which is the difference. So how to do that is, when you are installing, it will ask which folder to install. Okay, if you choose by default all the folders, or actually the latest version, right, it will ask whether you want to install Anaconda for one user or multiple users. Right, if you install for one user, then it doesn't require admin access. But if you want to install for all users on your laptop, it requires admin access. So at the end of the session, I can share you the a video link how to install. And once you actually log into your learning management portal, right, if once you enroll to the course, you can also get the videos from there. Okay, you can install this. Okay, so once you install this, let me show you actually where it's get installed. Okay, so it will be installed by default program data if you select for all users. If you don't select for all users, if you select only for one particular user, it will go to users folder and it will install in your specific user, whichever the user you are using. So let's see actually what are the packages that are installed, when because I already did this installation. Okay, see what are this all packages, right? I have by default. So when you install Anaconda distribution, if you don't install Anaconda distribution, all these packages you need to install manually. See, I have something called matplotlib, which we normally use for the charting. So you can create all your charts, graphs using matplotlib. If you don't have this matplotlib here, you can't use this library. So when you install Anaconda, it will install all, especially all algorithms and libraries required for the data science and machine learning will be installed with the Anaconda. So this is the only distribution that we recommend, and also we suggest you to use in your data science, especially in the learning. I will later we will see what is the advantage of this Anaconda distribution. Okay, this is about the installation. Okay, and one more thing, uh, if you Smax, right? Smax, they have a learning management system. Yesterday, someone asking me about this, so I just wanted to brief. So once you log in as a student, right? Once you log in as a student, you will see the sessions of two batches. You will see from the previous batch and your batch. Okay, the video sessions. So you can refer even from the, you can compare your learnings from the previous batch videos also. Okay, and also current batch. So something like this. So this is from the batch that I'm doing. It's a week daily morning batch. So you have all the videos here. Okay, so you can see all the videos here: Python basics, okay, linear equations, okay, calculus. You can, so all the videos you can see here, and the good, these videos are secured. So if I play any of the videos, right, let's say I play the overview, the initial first demo video for them for that batch. So all these videos are encrypted. If you see, if you can see this screen here, right, you see my email address and my IP address. So this is the about the, so you can directly play here, and unfortunately you won't be able to download any of the videos from this portal. And you can record the videos, but please don't share the videos with anyone, because your email address will be here and your IP address will be here. Okay, so this is how this learning management system for Smax works. Okay. So you have all the learning, and data science is a bit different, because this learning management system is only designed for the videos and also the course content. But course content, we are not hosting on the Smax website, because data science, right, we continuously keep on updating the some of the methods, so we don't want it to be very static. So what we do is, for the all the rest of the course materials, we will create a Dropbox link, and we will share the Dropbox link with you. Dropbox or Google Drive or OneDrive, whichever the whole team is comfortable with. So we will share that. Okay. So we have seen how to access Smax learning management system, and also now you guys know what is the Python, why we are not using the default Python, and why we are using Anaconda distribution. And and the good thing about the data science is, it is, you don't require like servers to install and access to some servers. You can, once you install Anaconda distribution on your notebook or on your desktop, you are ready to go. So what if you want multiple users? How if when you install on your machine, only one person can work, right? How do people use Anaconda distribution in the real time? So it can be installed on the server also, okay, and can be called by each user. It's a web based, actually. The everything is web based. So any user can log in into Anaconda distribution, and they can, they can modify the program. So you can go to the Anaconda documentation, if you want to refer to. And the good thing about the all the libraries for the data science that we are going to use, especially from the Python, has a good documentation, and they have a separate website, so you can get all the. Okay, Mohit, you have raised hand. Do you have a question?
Yeah, thank
Yes,
you.
Mohit.
So my question is that, as mentioned that the recordings will be available, we can check the recording at the Smax Learning portal, right?
Yes.
So we don't have we cannot download it as mentioned, right? We
Yeah,
cannot download it, right?
you can't download videos. You need to watch on their website.
So the what is the time frame by which we can access as the lifelong term we can access the Smax portal or what?
Uh, okay, that one you need to discuss with Smax. I'm really not sure how long you can access. I think it's 6 months or 1 year you can access.
Okay.
Yeah, but don't worry about that, because what we are trying to do is, for this course, even though we are giving the videos, we are not much depending on the video, because if you look at our notes, right, the notes are very detailed, and we are sharing you the notes. So whenever you have any question, right, whenever you have any doubt, you can always go back to your notes and check. And referring to video is, not that easy, because you don't know what is spoken at which part of the video, right? It's very confusing
Yeah.
to refer back to the video. So I think 6 months is very good. Even 1 year, it's okay. You should not, I don't think you need to worry much about that, because you can always go back to your notes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Hey, Kishore, sorry,
Yeah,
this is Chiranjeev.
yeah, Chiranjeev.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So recently you said that it is Anaconda is web based, okay,
Yes,
and anyone can log in. Okay, say for example, 5 users are working, right? And you
yes,
you said that anyone can log in and modify the code, right?
yes, right, right.
So what does that statement mean? Does it mean that it is maintaining the version control
No,
or
no,
something
no.
like that,
No,
or
okay. Okay, I just don't want to confuse you on the first session, so I'm just giving you very high level overview. So when you actually configure Anaconda in real time, it is not controlling the version. Okay, you will have another version control. Like most of the people, they go for the private GitHub accounts where they can put their source code. Okay, Anaconda is like, it's like a explorer. You will just you can. It's not actually storing your code. It is like a user interface for you to edit your code and execute your code, and your code is saved somewhere else on your file system, right? So Anaconda does not keep your code. You will only call your code, and you will open your code in Anaconda, and you will execute your code. Okay, your code is should be stored somewhere else on the a proper version controlling system. Like same in the other languages, right? If you take Java or any language, when you run Java, you are just executing the code. Your files are saved somewhere else, and you can maintain a version controlling system on those source code, and you know who is accessing the files. So this version controlling system should be transparent to your IDE. Does it clear,
okay.
Chiranjeev? Yeah.
Uh, okay, yeah. Please continue. I will ask again if I have other doubts.
Yeah,
Please
because
continue.
this Anaconda is only to edit your code and execute your code. This is not to store your code. Your code will be kept somewhere else, and you need to have a proper version controlling system. That is another topic which we will discuss later on. You can use Git, or there are a lot of other controlling systems.
Okay, sure. Please continue.
Okay, fine. Okay, so this is about Anaconda and about our learning management system. Okay, so what I suggest is you guys go and explore this Anaconda website. There are other distributions. Okay, so once you install Anaconda, right? So what do you get is you will get something called Anaconda Navigator. This navigator actually takes a bit to load. And one more thing, guys, I just want to highlight that when we work with data science, right, most of the times we are working with in memory. Okay, if we have 100 a million rows, if you want to load 100 that million rows, we are loading the whole data set into the memory. So I recommend you guys should have at least 8 gig of memory on your desktop or laptop. 4 GB will do fine for just the learning purpose, but you might have some issues when you are working with our main project where we are going to use a huge data set. Okay. So this is the Anaconda Navigator, the user interface. Okay. So I have a lot of, see, this Anaconda is used not just for the Python. This is used for a lot of other languages also. You can use it. Okay. Even R you can use from Anaconda. Okay. So we have something like Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Notebook, okay, and IPython console and the Spider. Okay. So what we are going to use mostly is this Jupyter Notebook in the course. Okay, Jupyter is it is created initially for a language called Julia. Then they have added Python, then the R. That's why it's a Jupyter, Julia, Python, and R languages. So this Jupyter notebook is built. Actually, you don't have to install Anaconda. You can directly install Jupyter also in your notebook. So how do this? So let me go to the Jupyter website. Okay, you can go to Jupyter. So this is the Jupyter. So you can just download Jupyter. But again, the problem also, right? You will not get all the libraries with the Jupyter. So if you use Jupyter from Anaconda, it already comes with all the libraries. So you don't have to do additional steps. Okay, installing this. Okay. And also you have something like Anaconda Cloud. Okay, you can just register here, you can sign here. Okay, and you can do it online. You don't have to install your any of the Anaconda on your laptop. Let's say if you are in the office lab, if you are using office laptop and you can't install, and you are at office and you want to practice some data science when you are free, so you can use Anaconda Cloud. Or another good option is you can go to Azure. See, there are a lot of resources which you can use to learn data science. So you don't have to spend much on the server access or anything. So you can go to this, okay, notebooks.azure.com, and you can register for a free account using your Microsoft account, and this is free. You don't have to pay anything for the notebooks. But the only problem is it doesn't come with all the libraries. So but all basic libraries are present, all your data science basic libraries. Some specific libraries are not present, which we are going to use later on, but usage of those specific libraries are only for some specific scenarios. So those are not very generic libraries. So you can absolutely use this Microsoft version of the Azure. Okay, this notebooks.azure.com is nothing but they are hosting this Jupyter on Azure, and they are giving you the access. So this is the screen of the Jupyter. Even though you don't see any Jupyter word here, okay, notebook means itself is a Jupyter. It's a Jupyter notebook. So you have many ways to do it. Okay. So once you go into the navigator, right? So most of the times we use Jupyter to do our all the data science objective. You can use Spider also. Spider is actually a bit complex environment. It is not very user friendly. So most previously Spider was used by mainly scientific developments, the IDE. So if you see some people who are doing some scientific experiments and trying to code in Python, they are still using Spider, but slowly everyone moving to Jupyter. Okay, let's see how to launch this Jupyter. Okay, so once you launch this Jupyter, right? See, by default it will launch in your browser. Okay, see, once you install this on the server, everyone can access using this URL, the Jupyter. Okay, and you don't see any login here. Okay, it doesn't ask me for login. So how do they use in corporate? So again, that's a different concept, okay, which we are not covering here. Okay, you need to use additional plugins to enable that login part. So many companies, what they do is they integrate with this Jupyter into their own portals, because every company has their own internal portal, right? So they will host the link. So once they log in into their portal, the portal, so this will use their own credentials to continue. Okay. So let me brief you on the Jupyter thing. So what do you see here is three tabs. This is the files, all the files on my system. Okay, by default, right, it will list only the folders uh, that are available from the Jupyter installation folder. Okay, so normal, and I can't go back. If I want to go to E drive, I can't go back. I can only go from here. See, these are most of all these are from my C drive. But if I'm storing my files on the E drive, I can't go back, because this is treated as a root. But if I go somewhere here, I can go back here. So this is considered as a root. So what do we do normally? How do we launch Jupyter is, so we don't go with this method. We don't launch this because you can't change back. So there is another called a terminal. Okay, so you have Anaconda Navigator as well as Anaconda Prompt. Okay, we go to Anaconda Prompt. Okay, Anaconda Prompt, right, it is a command version. Okay, I can just write Python here and I can start my Python. See, I'm using the Python version 3.6.5, so it's a 64-bit Anaconda distribution. So I can just write. Okay, I can just say 2 plus 2. So this is our Python. So what we do, right, we don't execute Python, because we don't want to write our code on the command line, right? So we want to use Jupyter. So what do you say is Jupyter notebook. Okay, let's say I want to go to E drive. Okay, then wherever you want to go, wherever your source files are there, you go to that folder first, then you launch Jupyter notebook. Then it will open your Jupyter notebook in that folder. So it is my E drive now. So I have all my files in the E drive. So if I want to launch in the D drive, I can launch in the D drive. So from here I can go into any folder. So you can launch the, so, and also if you observe, right, launching Anaconda takes time. It takes at least 15 to 30 seconds, or sometimes even few minutes, launching Anaconda Navigator. But if you go by from the command prompt, and if you just type the Jupyter notebook, it launches very fast. So what we do is we go to the command prompt always, and we launch Jupyter notebook. You will go to the respective folder, any folder. Let's say I want to go to the folder that I have created for this batch. Okay, so I will just copy the folder. So if you are familiar on how to use the command prompt, right, you can just right click and it will paste whatever you copy, whatever you have copied, right? It is just the normal Windows shortcut. So I have here, okay, I have, okay, so I have no document, no files here. So this is how you open your Jupyter notebook, and it has two items. One is files, which we have discussed just now, and running. So this one will show which are the programs that are running. Okay, and going forward, right, for when we say notebook, that is nothing but a program. Okay, because in Jupyter we call it as a notebook. It is a file. One file is called as a one notebook. So all your code will be present in one notebook. So if you want to write a new code for a new purpose, you will create a new notebook, and you will see all the running notebooks, and you can terminate them. Okay, if it is running something, you can click and terminate them. Okay, because every notebook will open a separate session with your operating system to run the code. Okay, clusters, we will skip for now this tab. We will see it later. And see, since we are in this folder, right, we are at this particular folder. Okay, I am at Google Drive, Smax batch 201 Python. Okay, this folder, So if I create any file, the file will be created at this folder. The file will be created at, it will be created here. Okay. If I create any file now, so let's say I say new Python 3. You can create a text file or anything, but normally we are using Python 3. Sometimes, right, you may see multiple versions here. If I have Python 2, you will also see Python 2. So you don't have to install separately. When you install your Anaconda, it is installing Python 2 as well as Python 3 also. You just need to enable. But for this session, we are just using Python 3. We are not going to use Python's 2.x for any of our code in this version. All you need to remember is there are two parallel versions of Python. One is for older programs because there is no backward compatibility with the new version, and the new version is used for all the new programs going forward. So this is my Jupyter window. So this is where you are going to write all your code. So let's see the actually most of the things are self-explanatory. All these are self-explanatory, right? Edit, okay, all these menus, okay. Okay, the key things, right? Okay. Some of the shortcuts, the most important activities are available as the icon here. Okay, or you can always go to see if I want to run, I can go and run cells. So instead of that, normally you will click here. Okay. So the one important thing is this part: code, markdown, heading, okay, raw and convert. Okay, we don't choose this too much, but we use code and markdown. So what we are saying is code means I'm telling I'm using this cell to write some code. Okay, when I select this as a markdown, see, you don't see in anymore here. So I'm saying I'm going to write some text here, some markup text. So you guys might be familiar with the markup language like HTML. So you can write HTML all things here. Let's say I'm just typing 2 here and I run this cell. Okay, it will display 2. Okay, so it is actually executing my Python. Okay, so if you go back here and if you see I have a untitled file created. So let's name this. So you can just click on the untitled here on top. You can rename this file to any. Okay. So I have created a file name, then my file is created, and if I go and see running, right, see, this is running. Currently this notebook is running. So if you have multiple users working, you will see all, but you don't see user names here. Okay, and we will see that later. We will go through that at the towards the end of the course, how to maintain all these logistical things when you are working with multi-user environment. Okay, and you can click shutdown. Once I click shutdown, we are stopping this kernel. Okay, when you see here, right, you have a kernel. Once you create a notebook, it will create a session with operating system. So whatever the commands I execute here, it will send to the operating system to execute. Okay, so if I want to re-execute, let's say I put some 2 plus 4 here, so I executed. So you can always use this kernel. Let's say sometimes that your program may go into an infinite loop, like executing for 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and you want to stop it. So you can always go to kernel and interrupt. Okay, see, I can say restart and clear output. So this will clear all my output, whatever the output I have. Okay, or you can say restart and run all. So it will run all the statements, whatever the code you have, it will run all the statements. Okay, okay, if you, let's say if you are writing this code, you can also change your kernel to different version, because I don't have different version. And when we are doing data science, we will explore this option, what we call it as a different environment, because if you know, the Python is an open source, right, and there are very frequent updates. So when you are using a certain library, and when there is a new update for this library, you have to ensure your code works on the new update also. So what we do is we create a virtual environment with the new version to test our code. So you don't have to rewrite the whole code. You can just go here and change to different version and different environment, and you can run the code. Okay. So guys, any questions so far here? So these are the very basics on setting up your environment and on the Jupyter notebook, how to start Jupyter notebook. So this is where we are going to write code. Okay. Okay. Another key part which we missed is the markdown. Okay. See, this is the code. I want to write some notes here. Let's say this part, right? I want to write some notes. Okay. Something like this is my first session of Python. Okay. See what happens. When I execute this, right, I get an error because this is. But I want to keep this text as a comments. In Python, you can write comments by default as hash. Okay, you can write your comments, so this is treated as a comment. But the advantage why people love Jupyter notebooks, because of this markup. See, I can change this cell to markup. Okay, once I change this text, see, it is treating as a an HTML text, right, on the browser, as a notes, as a proper notes. Okay, you can even write your mathematical formulas here, like 2x square, 3x square. You can also embed them into this, and you can also put them images, and you can include the links. So what happens, right? What is the purpose of our data analysis? Whenever any person want to do analysis, the only single purpose is, or the process is, they receive the data, they will clean the data, and they will run some models, and they will generate some output, right? So this output may provide some insights or maybe rubbish sometimes. So but this process has to be explained. If I am using certain model, certain algorithm, why am I using this algorithm? I need to write some notes. So you can write all these notes here. And another advantage is it has lot of shortcuts. Like I want to make this as a heading, I can use hash. Okay, or I can use multiple hashes. Okay, to so you have the different headings. Okay, if you want a list item, okay, simply you type star and space, and you type, okay, list item 1, okay, and star list item 2. So these are some things that we use. Okay, because we need to change this to markdown. Okay, so I can create a list, and you can even do 1 2 3 number list. You can type 1 2 3. So this is very user friendly, and most of the notes for this course we will provide you in the Jupyter notebooks. So what happens, right? I have my text here, and we explain, and you have a code here. Let's say I'm running 2 plus 3. Okay, I have my output. So I will explain here in the notes itself, right? I'm adding 2 and 3, and also, okay, I can change this to markup. Okay, I can say that the output is 3 because so and so. So we can explain this. Okay, when I say run, right, you can actually press shift and enter as a shortcut key for the run. Okay, so okay, if I press shift and enter, that is run. Okay, that will execute this run. Okay, so one, now we know how to run the code in Jupyter. So we can start with the basic Python code. So for next few sessions, we are not going to discuss much about data science, because we don't want to confuse ourselves. Now we will learn Python as a language, right? Like how to add your numbers, what are the data types in Python. So what to do, let's say if you want to learn a new language like French. Okay, like let's say take example of English. If you want to learn English, what do you learn first? So something like vowels, right? You will learn your alphabets first. Okay, so similar way to learn any computer language, there is some syntax that you need to learn. Okay, So okay, guys, if you guys are, I think most some of you are familiar with languages, right? Can you tell me what's happening when 2 plus 3 in and it is executing only in the browser? What's happening here actually? What kind of language is this? Can you do same thing in Java or C? I'm just trying to differentiate Python with other languages. Okay. Because you can't do same thing with C or Java, because Java and C, right? They are compilers, but whereas the Python is an interpreter language. So when I say interpreter, right, whatever you try to execute, it will transfer to operating immediately. Let's say I have 10 lines of code here and I have error at line 6 or line 7. It will execute all the 6 lines, then only it will find the error. It will not check for the errors first. Of course, it will check for the basic, the syntax mistakes like that, but still it will execute all the statements before. But when it comes to compiler, right, let's say I have a C program, something like, if you are familiar with C or even Java, you will write something like main, something like this, right, with the bracket, some printf or printf, I don't remember exactly. You will write something. So when I execute this, it doesn't print anything. I need to save this as, I will save this as a some first.c program. Then I will compile. First statement is save, right? Then you will compile. When you compile, you will get first dot some, we call bytecode. So the extension depends on the version of the program that version of the you're using, version of the compiler that you are using, and also the from where you got that compiler. Okay, and also later it will create an exe file, right? Okay, when you execute, it will, you need execute exe file. So once I have this executable file, I can execute this file, then only I will get my output. But when it is compiling, it will find all sort of syntax mistakes. But in case of Python, this is not happening. So that's the reason why some people say Python is an interpreter language. It will be slow. Yes, it's an interpreter language, but slow is in which sense? And you need to define how slow is slow. And also it depends on the purpose. Okay. So some people who are coming from the C, C++ or Java background, right? They will say all interpreter languages are very slow. Okay. But the another thing here is how effective is your language and how many libraries you have. It's something like how much vocabulary you have in your language to use. If you can't express yourself in your own in the language that it's no point of knowing that language, right? And here so what happens if there is that case, you need to invent some new terms, new words to express yourself in that particular language. So same way in Python, they have lot of libraries. You can use C, C++, Java for machine learning. Nobody is stopping. Okay, it's Python is not like designed only for machine learning. There are people who use C, C++, but the problem here is you have to create your own algorithms. You need to write all the algorithms from the scratch. So you need to program them. But when it comes to Python, R, SAS, all this, right, they have already created a libraries that you can use. So you don't have to create the base. You don't have to reinvent the wheel again. It's already there. Just use them. Okay. So any questions before we proceed with the Python? I can give a break for 5 minutes for the question, 5 to 10 minutes here. If you have any questions. Actually, I'm unmuting all. I think some of you are muted by me still. Okay, guys, it seems like no questions. Seems like it's very clear. Okay, let's proceed. Uh, okay, let's start with the session one. So I'm going to remove all these samples that we have started here. Okay, actually, simply you can also click cuts selected cells. Okay, I can remove all. Okay, so what do we learn is in Python. So after we know the thing, first let's see how this Python reacts. So we have just seen 2 plus 2, so I can add. So because what's happening here is this is my markdown, so you can't execute, so it should be code. So run, so my output is 4. Okay, you can do anything. Okay, like a simple calculator you can use Python. Okay, so this is your number, right? And I say a plus b, so you can't execute this because it says a is not defined, because this what system doesn't know what is a and what is b, but system does know, the Python, your Python does know what is 2. It's a number 2. Okay, so I can assign the variable values to a equal to 5. Okay, or let's see something like this. What happens if I add a plus, sorry, 5 plus something d? Okay, so d is not defined, and I will assign a equal to 5. Okay, see, I'm executing one statement on each line. After I type my code, I'm just pressing shift enter, so automatically it will generate output and it will create another blank cell for me. Okay, a equal to 5. Okay, and if you see right here, you have a number. Okay, so whenever you execute the statement, the number will increase. And if I go back here, 5 plus d, if I execute again, it will again increase this number. So you have to be a bit careful, and you try to execute all the statements in the sequence, because you can go back to execute any statement at any time. Let me give you an example on this in a while after completing this topic. So I have a equal to 5. Now I am adding 1 plus a. See, so my output is 6 because a equal to 5, right? So now I am changing my a equal to 7. Okay, so what is my 1 plus a now? So a plus 1, so it is 8, because my a is, I'm changing my a to 7. And see, I'm going back here, I'm assigning my a. Okay, so what is my a now? Is it 5 or 7? Okay, let me put it this way. Let me take a new variable. I'm assigning b equal to 1. Okay, so you can see b value just by typing b. Okay, okay, b, or you can even print b. Okay, so this, okay, b equal to 1, and I'm printing b. Now I'm assigning b equal to 5. Okay, what is my b value? 5. So I'm going back here, I'm executing my b equal to 1. So if I run this statement, what will be my output here, 1 or 5?
It will be 1
1.
because it will pick the latest one.
Yes, so because remember, you are working in the memory, all variables are stored in the memory, so don't be confused with the statement sequence of the statements here, because you are going back and executing another statement, so you are overwriting the value. So this is one of the confusion that people will have when they are learning the Jupyter, because you're not writing code in sequence. I mean, you're not executing all the code in one go. You can execute statement by statement. That is the advantage of Python also, being an interpreter language. Okay, let's see. Since we know how this works, let's see what are the data types. There are a lot of data types in Python, but we will see two data types first. One is number and another one is strings. Okay, and I will just change this to a markdown. Okay, okay, so I can use my hash. So you can use all your markdown. You can, I will give you a link for all the markdown options that you can use. Okay, and I can say this one as a list. I want to see as a list. Okay, number and strings. So these are a very basic data types in any language. You need number, string, and date, right? So we will see number and strings first, and also what we are going to see, operators. So these are the basic things that you need to learn in any language. So we are going to see the first, what is the basic operator is assignment operator, right? So in Python, the assignment operator is equal to, so if see I'm assigning the value 5 to variable b. Okay, so my assignment operator is equal to, and the addition, so and these are mainly the common, plus, okay, subtraction is minus, okay, multiplication is, okay, is star, okay, and the division is, you will divide the same way like other languages. Okay, and one difference is exponent. We use this exponent often in the data science. So exponent is given by star star, like I want to find 2 to the power of 4, 2 to the power of 5, 2 to the power of 6, so I can find something like this. Okay, and also you have another like mod, which is a reminder, right? When you divide whatever the remainder, if you want to see, you will have a mod, so you will use percent. And also another thing is we call floor division. Floor division is nothing but it will discard the fraction, okay, without rounding. So it's like flooring the value. I have 2.6, it will make it to 2, the output will be 2. If I have even 2.4 or 2.1, it will make it to 2. So whatever it is after 2 dot, it will, your output will be 2, okay, without rounding. But when you use rounding, what happens by default, even Excel, every language uses rounding. So what happens is, if it is 2.5 or more, it will round to 3. But when you use the slash slash, you will ignore the fraction part. Okay, so let's see, I'm not using the list or anything, so that's why everything is going on to the name. So you can use, like, you can press the various ways to use. I can separate them by line, okay, or you can separate as a this list. So I'm just giving some additional space to that. So let's see, these all basic operators. So let's see exponent, how the see 2 to the power of 2, let's say 2, okay, it's 4. 2 to the power of 3 is 2, this is nothing but 2 times 2 times 2, right? So this is 8. So the so one more thing, right? When it comes to variable here, I'm not defining the variable. In other languages, right, you need to write, okay, a as integer, or right, you need to define a integer, something like this. So the it is a dynamic, Python is called as a dynamic type language. Okay. So why we call dynamic type language is, you don't have to declare a variable. Okay, see, I have a equal to 1. Okay, I have my a value, and I have same a equal to, I am assigning a string called python, okay, and a. So I can use it any variable, any kind of data I can store in one variable. So based on the data, it will dynamically assign the data type for the session of the python. Okay, but how do I know? I'm in the middle of a program, I'm trying to check one program, and I have a variable called a. Now I don't know what is this variable type, right? Here we have only integer and string, which are easy to say. I have only two languages, so I can see, okay, string is assigned to this one, and this is a string. So you have one function called type. Okay, so whenever you say type, and enclose that variable, you will find the type of this variable. So this is type of str, which is string. Okay, let's say a equal to 1. Okay, then what is type of a now? So it is integer. Okay, in Python 2 you had lot of integer uh, variables, integer types like integer, floats, but in Python 3 everything is treated as an integer. Okay, all the numbers. And but when you go into the some of the methods, right, you will see like int 32, int 64. So it will put the integers like that. So what happens if I have a equal to 2 and b equal to 4? Okay, I'm saying a plus b, okay, is 6, or let's say c equal to a plus b. I'm printing my c. Okay, so here I'm changing, let's see type of c. What is type of c? It's an integer, right? So here I'm changing 4 to 4.0. Okay, and I will re-execute this. Okay, and also I'm c equal to a plus b. I have re-executed this, and c. See now 6.0, right? And what is my type? Okay, it is taken as a float. Okay, so even though it is 0, it will consider it whenever you are adding any floating point number, even with a decimal. So the output will become a float also. So it will convert automatically. So you don't have to mention the data types automatically. Like you don't need to convert this to float, this to integer, or this to float to add them up. So where some languages are very restrictive on the typing, especially C, or I think even Java is very restrictive on the typing.
So, Kishore, I have
Yeah.
a question here.
Mm-hmm.
If I use say for example a is equal to in single inverted commas 2, okay, means I am trying to make it a where character or something like that. So
uh, yes, that one, let me complete this section. I will go there, because you are converting string to integer. It's not number related formats, and they can't add. You cannot add, right? Practically you can't add a string to a number, but I can add float
right.
and integer. So this is where Python is very dynamic and intelligent. So if you are adding string to number, you can't add, you need to convert the string to a number. Okay, you have a
Okay, sure.
yeah, you have the string function to convert. Okay, we will see that
Okay,
when what we call is a typecasting, right? So we will see that when we are discussing on the typecasting. Okay,
sure, sure.
so yeah, so what you need to remember here is, so it is not misjudging your variable, your data. So it is trying to interpret data. If it can add, then only it will add. And if you are assigning a string, if you are, because here I am saying some ABC, so it will recognize this as a string, and definitely it will not add, and it will not give you some garbage results. Okay, the Python is very intelligent on that. So we will see that in the typecasting. Okay, let's see here, right? And another operator, right, that a bit different is this. Most of the languages actually they don't have this as an operator. Okay, but Python has this as an operator. This is a very specific operator. Let's say I have some 3 by 2, so it's 1.5, right? So what happens if I do a float division? So it's only 1. So it will, I don't have to use some, in C or Java you have to use something like floor, right? Floor 3 by 2, something like this. You're flooring the value. If you want to seal, you will use something like seal or something. Okay, even I think even in Excel also you have these functions, or by default it will round off. So you can use this operator if you want to ignore, and it is automatically converted to integer, right? So it will ignore that, because this is about the numbers, and you know how to add the numbers. All these are the very basic things. Okay, then let's see strings. Okay, and the strings here, right, it's one, right? I can write like this. Well, see what happens, right? If I write some welcome to Python class, so it gives an error, right? Because you are typing some text and asking Python to interpret. and give me output. So it can't interpret this. It says invalid syntax. So but if what happens if I use welcome to in the single quotes, okay, I got my value. So it is taking this as a string. See, I'm not saying some a equal to here and printing a, right? I'm just trying to write whatever you give here, it will just print. You can also use double quotes, okay, and your output is always in the it is considers only single quote, okay. And also you can use something like print statement, okay. Okay, see the difference here. Whenever you use print statement, your intention is to print, so it is printing the actual value. But here Python doesn't know what is your intention, so it is taking this as a string, okay, it is displaying it as a string. It doesn't and the output is same in both when you use single quotes and double quotes, so it will just outputting a string value. But when I say print, Python knows, oh, you are trying to print it, so it should not print the quotes are meaningless when printing, okay. And let's say like this, okay, I want to print something, okay, welcome to, I say I want something like first class, okay. Okay, I have, but I want a single quote here. Let's say I want a single quote here, okay. So it can't recognize because you are giving one quote. It's a single quote, right? Your string is terminated here itself, and you can see based on the color codes, right? This is not considered as a string. You are ending your string here. So you have something like something called and okay, you have something called the escape character. I think every language has this kind of escape character. See, once I put the backslash, it is changing, right? So you can get your output now. I get the single quotes. So what happens if I use the double quotes? It's the same. Your output is same. And can I remove my escape character if I use double quotes? So you can. So another difference here is if you want to print some additional characters here like single quote, okay, which is interpreted as the end of single quote, you can always use double quotes. Okay, if you want to enclose single quotes in the text, or else you can always proceed with single quotes. So it's up to your own comfortability which one you want to use, whether double quotes or single quotes. So both ways you can use it. Okay. And another basic things that we use with the print is, okay, let's say a equal to 4 and say I'm saying 4 plus 5, then I want you can print the value like this, okay, or you can print the value like this, right? Or you have another option to print it. I want more descriptively, like, okay, print, okay, uh, output is, see, I want to print the output. So how can I print the output here? Okay, so it is printing just here, right after the output, but I want to print my output here, like output a to, I want to say, sorry, uh, a equal to is my final output, something like this. Okay, I want my value here. How can you print that? So for this, right, in Python, it's a bit different from other language. I think you have in, if you compare with C, right, you have percent %s for the string. You can use them also here. So in the Python 3, what do you use? You mention the brackets. Okay, once you mention the brackets, okay, you will use something called, this is very very important, that what we are discussing now, format a. So what's happening here, right? You can mention all variables in one place, and I can mention 2 3 variables. Okay, like suppose output A is my final output. If I want something else here, I can also mention here. Okay, like let's say for example, I am taking number 1 equal to 1. Okay, and number 2 equal to 2. So I have my number 1 and number 2. So I want to print my number 1 and number 2. Okay, print. Okay, number 1 is, okay, I want my number 1 here. Okay, so I will use my brackets, and number 2 is, so I want my number 2 here. Okay, so I can mention format number 1 comma number 2. Okay, because there is no, okay, number 1 and number 2. So you can use this as the number 1 and number 2. So you can parameterize a print statement, and when coming to data science we don't use the print statements much, because this, we are not trying to output something, we are trying to analyze the data, right? So we use print statement only to know what it's happening. And in Python, right, you don't have to use a print statement. You can just, I can just type number 1, so I will get my value here. So this is very formatting output. It is, though we may not use in the data science, but normally this is good to know, this format that we use in the Python for the in the version 3. Okay, this will not execute in
Sure.
version 2.7.
Sure. This format, is it a function in the Python, or what else?
Yeah, it's something like a similar, it's called format function itself. Okay,
Okay.
suppose, so another thing right here, what you can do, right, this is not just the, there are a lot of options, we are discussing only basic options here. So what, how, okay, the course structure, right, we are trying to be very practical in the approach. We are not trying to give the whole thing about the one statement in one go, because you will learn only when it is required. Because if you keep on learning on the one statement itself, you'll spend a lot of time there, and you don't know the importance of this statement, and you are putting a lot of time and effort there. Here our objective is very clear, to learn all the algorithms related to data science and execute them using the Python, and understand the mathematics and statistics behind these algorithms, so you can apply them with the different data sets in the real time on your work. Okay, so that is how we are approaching here. Like some, there are a lot of options you can use. See, I can use something like 0 here and 1. So there is no change in your output, right? So what happens if I use 1 here and 0 here? So my output is changing. So this is the first argument, which is 0. In Python, all numbers, the indexer starts from 0. Okay, and this is number 2. So which is index 1. This is 0 and this is 1. So where I mention 0 and 1 here, so I don't have, so I don't need to mention number 1 number 2 in a sequence. I know which is at my index 0 and index 1, so I can mention them anywhere in the system.
Kishore, the
Yeah,
last statement which you just executed, 73. Okay, what it is doing, we are saying number 1 is 1, number 2 is 0.
which one?
And then we are
Statement, right?
printing,
Yeah.
yep, this one, right? How
So
it
what's
is?
happening, right? This number
Mm-hmm.
is, this is argument 0. This is the first argument in my format, right? And this is my second argument.
Right.
Right, this is the argument 0, and this is argument 1. So what am I saying is, print my argument 1 here and print my argument 0 here. Okay, don't confuse
Oh,
with 0. Yeah, let's say this is 1 and this is 2. Let's say, for example, so this is my first argument and this is my second argument. So I am asking system to print my first argument here, and don't confuse with this 2 and 1 also. Okay, so what happens, right? Or
So here number 1 and number 2 in the format are the like a means arguments, right? We are passing
yes,
that.
right.
Okay,
See,
and
this is
in the
right.
right, in the left side, number is 2 and number is 1. So number is 2. If in the left side we are saying number is 2, it means it is trying to print the argument 2, right?
Okay, let me show you a simple thing. Don't confuse with all those number one and number two. Okay, so what I'm writing, right? Okay, I'm saying my first argument. Okay, my second argument, my third argument. Okay, and comma. Okay, I'm printing format 1 comma 2 comma 3. Okay, simple, right? This statement. Okay, let's we can cover that. We need to do some exceptions.
I think we have to use dot in place of comma
Oh yeah,
before
sorry,
formatting.
sorry. Yeah, that's right. Okay, see what's happening, right? My first argument is given here by default, and whatever I give my second argument by default, it goes here. So it is displaying here, right? My one
Right,
is
right,
going
right.
here and two is going here. Okay. So what, right? I want to change. I want to display my two here. This argument here. Let's say your output is something. Your variables are like this. Okay. You have
Mm-hmm.
values like this, but I want to display one here, but I don't want to change this statement.
Right,
Okay, so what you do, you will mention here print the second argument and print the first argument. First argument is always zero in pi, right? Your arrays or indexes always starts with zero.
right.
So
I
this is
got.
zero.
I
Yeah, this is argument zero and this is argument one. Okay,
right.
so
Sure,
this
sure.
is
Thank
just
you.
a formatting function. Okay,
Sure, thank you.
or you can use something like, very, if you guys are familiar with C and Java, it is similar thing. Like, what do you use? Print. Let's say I'm saying this is percent %s. Okay, and I can write my Python also. But what do you do, right? Uh, you will start with a percent. Okay, and I'm writing a Python. Okay, so what's happening here is my text is printed here, but I need to mention with Python since I'm not using a variable here. Okay, so I'm just using text. Okay, something like this. I'm just passing the text, or else you can have a equal to, if you're confused, you can put Python and you can pass a here. Okay, this is something like your C notation where you use percent %s for strings, percent %d for the decimals, like that. Okay, you can use this notation, but this is not recommended. This is the Python 2z2x2 method. So normally we go with the format options. So when another key thing, right, about the variables, I'm declaring the variables, but like other languages, I'm not specifying the declaration, right? So what are the conventions that we use, the normal conventions? Okay, so there are very some key things that you need to observe when it comes to the variables. Okay, one is Python is a case sensitive. Okay, so when I say a is different from a, okay, and you can't, like general, no spaces are allowed. Okay, no spaces in the variable names. Okay, and with And also you cannot start a variable with the special characters. Okay. And there are some system variables that may start with special characters, so don't try to use exclamatory mark or ampersand, okay, or star or cap to for the variable names. So be very specific. Okay, you can have a capital letters or small case letters and no spaces. Okay, and also it does not allow the reserved words. Okay, you need to check what are the reserved words in Python, like and, true, false. All these values you can't have. See, I can't have a true equal to 3. Okay, this is a keyword. True is a keyword, but I can say true equal to 3 or 4, because this is Python is case sensitive. When I say capital T is different from small t, so this is a keyword, but this is not a keyword. So you will often see true as a variable when we are doing the data science, because using this is very easy, right? If I want to know if my output is returning true or false, so I will use this variable as a true, so it's easy for me to refer. But this true, so you can't use true with the capital T. So another advantage of Python when we compare with other languages, like, right, you have something like, see, I can say a equal to b equal to c equal to 1. So what am I trying to do here? What is my a value? What is my b value? What is my c value? Okay. And another thing, what I can do, right? A comma b comma c equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3. So what am I trying to do here? See how flexible is the Python, and why you will know why people love Python. And what happens, right? Any person, right? If he want to write some code, if he want to write something, let's say I want to do something, I want to manipulate some data. I know multiple languages, but even if you know multiple languages, you can't just choose one language, right? You will always go with the language that you are more comfortable with. Previously, if you take my example, I was more comfortable with C, so I used to use C a lot. But what happens once you learn Python, right? By default, you will go to Python, because it's such a easy language. You don't have to declare variables, you don't have to anything. If you want to do something very quick, if you want to do a prototype, you will do it in the C. Okay. And Python is used everywhere, not just data science. So it is a very general purpose language. Learning Python helps a lot. But when it comes to our course, we don't cover the web programming or application programming part of the Python. We only cover the basic Python, then that things that are required for our data science. Okay, and there are a lot of resources for Python online. If you want to learn more about this, if you want to do some web programming, okay, there you can just go to python.org to get the help. The help is very good. So any questions so far? So I don't think this kind of operations you can do in some in other languages, and this will be very helpful in data science. And also, if you're aware of the functions, right, that returning values or procedures returning value, you can have one procedure returning multiple values, or one class or method returning multiple values, and you can hold them in the variables together in one statement. So you can 3 or 4 statements in other language you can write in one statement in the Python. So any questions before we go to the next topic? Okay, let's move on, because these are very basics. Okay, today's class is a very basic class. So from the next session onwards, we will move. Today what we cover is the basic strings, all this. The next session we will see conditional statements, the for loops. Okay, that's where we end our basic Python. Okay, and another thing is, what you need to know is comparison operators, right? how to compare. Okay, whatever I am typing the notes in the class, right, this will be available on the shared drive as the notes. Okay, you can and apart from this, right, I will share you some additional notes which will have more details about this, what is variable. Okay, in class, right, I may not speak each and every word, right, I may not explain you each and everything, but there might be some other things you need to know. See, when I say special character, right, I'm not listing you all the special characters here, because you know what is a special character is. But the notes that I provide after the class, after I complete this particular topic, will include all similar items with more details like this. Okay, I will fill up all these details and I will give you additional note. So you will have two notebooks, one the classwork what we did, and one is like a homework, a bit neat copy with all the blanks filled up. So you can refer to that notes for more details. Okay, while working on. Okay, and I will try to use different examples in the notes that I provide, so it's more easier for you with examples. So you can practice two ways. Okay. There are a lot of comparison operators, and there is not much change in comparison operators. They are same like all other language. This is less than, and you have a greater than. Okay, and you have less than and equal to. Okay, greater than and equal to, and you have equal to is double equal to. So if you say single equal to, that will be an assignment like this. Okay, if I say double equal to, that will be a comparison operator. And not equal to, you can say like this, and also you can say like this. Okay, let's see. Okay, this mark, okay, when I say like this, right, this markup will behave strangely because some of the keywords are taken as a markup language. Okay, okay, when I say this, right, greater than is taken as a end of the markup language normally, right. So this, I will just leave this cell like this. Okay, and or you can use this as a list. You can make it as a list, so to display it properly.
Kishore,
Yeah.
just for curiosity,
Uh-huh.
how we handle the nullability in Python?
Oh, you have the null functions to handle is null like that.
Okay, we have that. Okay, sure.
Yeah, we have.
Okay,
So
carry on,
actually,
please.
Python has, it's a very proper language. It has all whatever you think in other language, this language should have, right? Because that is the importance of the that is the how you distinguish languages, right? If you don't have something in the language, you can't express yourself, and you can't communicate. You can't express your feeling if you don't have the words. So you should have. Then only we'll call it as a proper language. Okay, let's see this. Let's say I'm saying 2 greater than 5. My output is false, and please note it is capital F. Okay, so okay, what happens if I say a, can I do like this, a equal to 2 greater than 5? Okay, and what will be the output of a? Guess. Okay, it's false, right? Whatever the output is from this statement, it is assigned. It's a dynamic type language. It doesn't care what you are doing here, and whatever it is output, it will assign. It doesn't care about the data type of this. And what is the type of my a? Is it a integer, string, or float? What is it? It is boolean. So boolean is another data type that we have. Okay, this is called boolean data type. So which is nothing but true or false. Okay, okay, this one I can change it back to markdown. So you can assign even like this, and you can compare this. And this boolean plays very key role in Python. In other languages, you may not, actually you don't need this kind of expressions. In other languages you don't do that, but in Python we do this very often. And you will see how easy to, especially when we go to matrix multiplication like that, and especially in data science, this has lot of importance, true and false. And I can say, okay, I'm assigning a equal to 4, okay, and I'm saying a greater than 5, okay, which is false, or let's use less than or equal to, okay, which is true. So, and I'm changing, I want to do a equal to 6. What's happening here? It is false, right? I'm not doing a equal to 6. If I do a equal to 6, a value will be changed to 6. But when I use double equal to, it is trying to compare if a is equal to 6. So since a is not equal to 6, it is false. Let's say if I do something like this, okay, I have assigned my value. Now if I execute this statement again, so it's true because you just change the value of a using the single equal to. So not just this, and we can also do something like this: 7 greater than 3 greater than 8. Okay, that is false, right? Or I say 1 less than 2 less than 3, that is true. So it will check. You can have multiple comparisons in one statement. Okay, normally this is called as a chain comparison in Python. Okay, now generally this is not a very reserved word, I mean reserved terminology, but in generally in the Python community this is as called a chain comparison.
Really, it's very flexible.
It's very flexible. So once you learn Python, right, I promise you, you will not go for any other language. You just you just need to open your command prompt and you can type it. And why the advantage of Jupyter notebooks is you can write the text. You see what notes that you have. And yesterday I have shared you some notes on mathematics, right, with all the equations. All those notes we created using the Jupyter notebooks. And if I am explaining some mathematics terms here, right, in the Jupyter notebook, and I will put the Python code for you to test what we are talking about using Python immediately. So it's very flexible. You can keep these notebooks. And if you the only disadvantage is, right, this file is saved as IPYNB in your, so you can't just open in the notepad or a word. You definitely need a Jupyter install to open this. Okay, you have something called notebook reader tools. You can install those tools if you want to read. Or what you can do is, the simple method is you right click and print to PDF. Okay, so this whole output will be printed to PDF. Or you can also export. Okay, you can download as PDF, but the problem here is this may not work on your notebook because this is using something called a latex. If you are guys aware, the latex is a mathematical format. Okay, if I want to write all those mathematical equations, we call this as a latex terminal, like HTML, how we call for the markup, general HTML web markup. So this is a mathematics notation. So if I want to write x square, there is a way to write in latex. So if you use that tool, or you can download it as a Python code. So if you want to execute your Python code in some other place, or you want to send it to only Python code to someone, okay, and you don't care about all the contents that we have, then you can send it or download as a Python code also. Okay, so normally since we are going full-fledged into data science, so you keep it as a Jupyter notebooks, and anyway you have Jupyter installed. Okay, and you don't have to worry. You can always go to notebooks.azure.com, or you can go to Anaconda Cloud and you can open your file there. Always you can upload the file. So you have this option, right, in the files. You can always upload. I can select the file and upload once you open your Jupyter notebook. So your file will be present in the particular folder, so you can start working on it. So this is very flexible. Okay, this is about the comparison operator, very simple. Okay, and the another kind of operator is logical. What is logical operator? and or, and you also have a not. Okay, so it's not is very simple one, so let's concentrate and okay, and or. Let's say just now we have seen chain comparison, right? So similar to that, I want to check like something like 1 less than 2. I also want to check if 2 less than 3. It is similar to this, right? So I want both expressions to be true. Okay, how do I check both to be true? And, right, I need to use and. So okay, it's all small case letters. Okay, and you must include them in the, this is advised always whenever you are using logical operator, you enclose them so that the Jupyter notebook does not interpret them something else. See, it's saying and. Let's say what happens if I use the or here. So if and itself is returning true, or always returns true. The difference is and means this both should return true for it to be true, right? Okay, that is what and or, right? And is both should return true. Okay, or is anyone should return true. Then your output will be true. So let's say I will change to 5. Okay, so this is false, right? Because 1 is less than 2, yes, but 5 is not less than 3, and I have 1 is less than 2 and 5 is less than 3, and I'm using or, the same expressions. It is true. Okay, because this is true, so or will return. So this is helpful, something like, right, I want to do something. If a person is male, I want to execute certain code. Okay, or if the person is female, I want to execute different code. That's something like how you can check. Okay, or I want to check, like yesterday we have discussed, hair size is this much, and if the person height is this much, you do this. Okay, so we can use and, but I don't care about the and. I don't want two conditions to be true. I'm okay with one condition is true. If the person is male or if the person is female, you go ahead. So something like that. Okay, we will see more example in the next topic when we discuss the control statements. Okay. So guys, any questions so far? Okay, if no questions, I will cover one more topic for the day, which is we are going back to the strings. Okay, and this is very important. So, and you will see the how flexible is Python again one more time. So normally we call this as a, you can call slicing strings or anything. Okay, see, I'm taking some my string. Okay, I'm changing some s1 equal to, I'm saying Python. Okay, so what is my s1 is Python. See, and what happens if I do something like this, h. Okay, this character is 0, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. So always the Python starts counting from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. So I want the third character, so I get my h. So I don't think you can do this in any other programming language, right? So, and yet I want the two characters or three characters. You can do that. Let's say I want s1 of 1, 2, 3. So what happens? I'm getting the first character. Okay, character at 1, index 1, until character at index 3. Okay, is that right?
No, Kishore. I
Yes.
think it should be like it should start from 1, okay, and go till 3.
Yeah. So what happens in Python, right? So this in anywhere in Python, if you see this kind of notation, right, or even in the for loops, anywhere, the starting value is always included. Okay. When I say something like this, okay, this is start, right, and this is I'm ending, right. So
Mm-hmm.
start value is always included. Okay. End value is okay excluded. Okay.
Okay.
So when I say 3, it will print only until 2. It will consider until 2. So remember, even in the for loops everywhere, okay, in Python. So first value is always included, last value is not included. Okay, you must remember this. This is how Python works. So what I want all characters, let's say from second character. So you can do something. You can play with this later. You can play with this later. Let's say I want from the 3. So 3 is always included, but on the second, right, if I say like this, I will get the third character, right? But if I do like this, and I'm not mention, I can mention like this, some 5, I get some characters. But what happens if I omit my second argument after colon? So it returns everything. Okay, let's say this one, right? I change my Python to something else. So it will return everything after 3. Okay. So
I
and
think percent sign, can't we use the percent sign as a wildcard character? Means 3%.
no, you can't use percent or star like that here, because if I don't mention
Okay,
anything, this is for everything.
okay, okay, okay.
Okay, there's no star, no question mark, okay, no percent symbols here. Okay,
And say for
let's say one.
example,
Uh-huh.
yeah, say for example, I want to start with first space, and I want to print anything coming after first space.
No, that one we will see later. We have separate functions here. See, we are not using arrays or
Okay,
anything here. We are not using any string functions. We will discuss that when we come for the string functions. Here I'm
sure,
just
sure.
manipulating the just a plain string. I'm assigning the plain string, and I can read like it as an array. So every string is an array in Python, which you can refer with the index. That's all. Okay, if you want to refer to the space, if you want to find special character, we need to go for the string functions like other languages.
Sure.
Suppose I want to show you something here. So if I say 1, I will get the first character, right? That is at at 2, at the index 1. Okay, and what happens when I use -1? Where is this picking E from? See, this E is picking from here. When I say minus, it starts from the last character. Okay, what happens -2 or -3? So 1, 2, and 3 A. Okay, let's say -3 to, let's say 2. Is it meaningful? No, right? So I'm trying to get the values from -1. So let's say something like this. Okay, so you get until this character, right? See, it is not returning A, it is not printing this A until A, because last character is not included, right? But if I say same thing like this, okay, I get A, but this A is not included when I say, because this is the first character, then this is the last, start and end. And when I say reverse, right, there is no -0. This is 0, right? The index is 0 for P, and this is 1. So it doesn't start from 0, 1, 2. Always it is -1 is the last character. Okay, you need to remember this. Okay, this starts from there is no minus 0, so it starts from -1, -2, -3, and last character is not included always, and the index, when I say the first index, first character is always included. So whatever the character at this location is included, this location is not included. So any questions? So do you guys have any questions on the course, or the topics that we are going to cover, or any general questions? I will take the questions now.
Yeah, Kishore, I have a
Yeah.
few questions. Like, say for example, this will be going to be on the weekends only, right? These
Yes,
classes.
right.
Say for example, if we are not available on some weekend,
Mm.
so how we can cover those classes?
Because okay, actually this happened in the current batch is happening quite often, because one guy he's working all the time. So the good thing is you have the recorded video. You can
Mm-hmm.
once before the next class, you can just go to the recorded video and you can hear the video. And the one thing what we are trying to do is, we are not trying to edit the videos normally, right? In my other batches, I will try to edit the video. I will remove some unnecessary discussions. But for this, from Smax, right, the strategy is to publish the video as it is. So whatever the discussion happens, it is uploaded to the LMS system, and you can watch the video. And for the notes, right, what we do something for the notes, actually so far, right, all my classes, these guys don't have to go back to videos, because the notes that we provide is so it's very good. So let's say this is Smax first batch. So I'm going to my Python notes, right? So since you know the class, let's go for a basic Python. See, in the classwork, I have this 4 sessions. So whatever I discuss in every class, I will create a separate notebook. So you know which notebook to refer to, and you can open this Python notebook in the here, and you will see something like this. So you can execute and you can understand, try to understand. If you're unable to understand some concept, right, and when you go back to this uh, this notes, and you have additional notes, and this notes covers for the entire topic, and this includes lot of descriptions. Okay, in the basic notes. So you can cover, you can learn from there if you miss a class, but you have to do it before the next class, so it's easier for you. You can follow up the next class.
No, why I am asking is, see, say for example, next weekend I am not available.
Okay.
Okay, okay, I am traveling out. Okay, so now, and it's a start, right? So it is very
Yes.
important to understand the basics, because if
Yes.
basics are clear, we can do anything,
Right.
right? Right. So that's why, means my intention is, say for example, I'm not available on weekends. So can I cover that class in some weekdays, or something like that? Because I want to be present in the class.
No,
Okay.
definitely.
So
Okay, I understand, Chiranjeev. I understand, because what we are trying to do, right? If they miss the class, we allow them to attend the class, even if they miss or don't miss. If they want to attend the class in another batch, because whenever we start another batch, we will announce them that we are starting another batch. So if you would like to refresh your topics from, or if you miss the class, you can attend. Always, you can attend in another batch.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
uh,
that may not help you if next weekend you are not here, right? So I still advise you
right.
to go through the notes, but you can still join for the next batches. We are not very restrictive on that. See, our objective is to make you learn.
No, that's what
So
I
yeah.
am trying to understand,
Yeah.
because these are very important classes. In
No,
if
we are.
the basics are very important,
Yeah. Yeah, we are
right?
not very restrictive. Even if you guys want to have some, additional 15 or half an hour with me, we can have a discussion on the Skype, or even on the this go to meeting. We can create a session, and we can have a quick discussion. Or you can always contact me on WhatsApp. Because we are paying a lot of attention to this course, and we have created, a very robust course content
And
and
only
course
it will be
material.
useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what means I am wondering how I have to make up.
Yeah.
And secondly, the
Yes. Hello. Hello, Chiranjeev. Are you okay? Can you
Yeah.
hear me? Yeah. Sorry about that. I think I clicked wrongly. Yeah.
No, no issue. No, I was saying
Yeah.
that the fees structure they have put on the website is 25,000.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. There was some confusion on that actually. I wanted to clarify
Uh,
later. It's okay.
uh,
So let me clarify first, then you can ask your question. So the fee structure for this course is 20,000, not 25,000. 25,000 is with the R. So we have removed R from the course right now from the main content. But if you want
mm,
to continue with the R, you can continue later on because R is anyway we are continuing at the end. So the fee will be only 20,000, not 25,000. So that will be updated on the website.
okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sure means
Yeah. So guys, other guys, any questions? Saurabh, do you have any question? I see your hand raised. Okay, guys, if you have no question, right, whoever enrolled to the class, we will see you on next Saturday. Okay, and all the details, today's session and everything will be shared to you.
yeah, sure. Uh,
Okay. Yeah.
and Kishan, one more
So,
thing means
yep.
just sorry. Uh, for the Python that I have explored, right, there are lot many classes. They are used.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so means I believe we will be covering only the classes which are required for our course,
Yes, that's right.
right? Okay. Uh, okay. And one more thing. How long you said that it is 40 hours course,
Yeah.
right? So we will be covering almost 4 hours in a week, right? Is it right statement?
Actually, we will cover. The session will be 3 hours, but solid session will be around 2 hours plus. But rest of the time may go for the the questions and discussing some additional topics if you have any doubts. So most of the time. So yeah, that's right.
Okay. So I think it is going to take almost 3 months. Is it right
Yeah, it's
statement?
exactly 3 months. Yeah.
Exactly 3 months.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good
Yeah.
to me.
One thing, right? What we observed in the market, right, for the data science courses, actually, there are courses, 6 months covering 1 year and covering
Mhm.
the whole Python. It's what is our purpose? Our purpose is not to learn Python. Our purpose is to learn data science. So
Right.
once you know the basics, advanced things, some topics you can learn on the job. You don't have to learn everything before you get the job, right? Most of the times you learn more on the job than in the class.
No, it is true.
Yeah.
Means
So that's how the course is designed in a very practical approach. So, and even if you have so many classes in Python, you won't be confused in the class. We will go step by step. So you feel like, yeah, like a stepping one by one. So you will see a gradual learning curve. It's not like one go teach everything. No. Okay, Saurabh, I can't hear you. Can you type? Yes, Saurabh, can you type your question? I can't hear you. Okay, can we move ahead by 1 hour? Saurabh, that's fine. You just have a discussion with the team at Smax. Okay, that's fine. They will let you know. Okay, okay, great. Okay, guys, then I will end the session here. I will see you next week. Okay, thank you for joining this session.
Yeah,
So
thank you,
if
Sean.
you yeah
Thank you.
if you still have any questions, you contact Smax. Okay, you I think you have their number, so you contact them. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye bye.